What happens when the path to redemption starts to feel like damnation? Angel takes the torture vampire trope and stretches it to the breaking point, unraveling not just what it means to atone, but whether atonement is even possible. Where Buffy danced between light and shadow, Angel dives headfirst into the darkness, into a world where every good deed is stained by compromise and the line between hero and monster is constantly blurred. In Los Angeles, the city of illusions, saving souls become a corporate battlefield, and hope is just another currency to be exploited. This isn't the story of a vampire seeking forgiveness, it's a story of someone who knows he may never be forgiven but fights anyways. Over 5 seasons, we watch Angel and his team battle not just demons, but systemic evil, personal guilt, and the crushing weight of immortality. It's a slow descent into a world where being good doesn't make you a hero, and where the cost of doing the right thing might be your own soul. Angel isn't just a supernatural spin off, it's a noir tragedy about fighting for the light when you know you'll never stand in it. So if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my other videos after this one. And follow my new Substack in the link below for more personal reviews on the TV shows that I watch. And now, without further ado, let's explore Angel. Chapter 1: LA New Rules of the Game. Compared to the brightly colored suburban place we all know as Sunnydale, Los Angeles is a different environment. There is a true sense of darkness that follows the streets of LA, and the stories that the series tells in this new town reflects that. The stories told in LA are more hopeless. There is a real darkness that resides in the city, and the demons and the supernatural entities that lives there exploit it. LA compared to Sunnydale is in a sense a metropolis. It has tall buildings and iconic locations, and yet things feel steeped in despair. The rules are different for the supernatural compared to other places. It's that sense of a city where thousands come trying to make a name for themselves, going to parties, auditioning, and yet their desire all seem to reflect the dream of hope in a place that is filled with hopelessness. The demons and the supernatural entities are drawn to LA because of that contrast, and the rules of the game are different because of it. When Angel arrives to become the champion of the city, it becomes a different battle to face. Sure, Sunnydale is directly located on the Hellmouth, but the dark vibes that the series portrays reflects the true meaning of supernatural activity. Compared to Sunnydale's bright colors, that is just a mirage for what the town actually is, a place infested by creatures of the dark, taking advantage of every corner while people remain unaware. Most people in LA come to LA hoping to start their dreams, and that becomes the cycle, a cycle filled with hope turned into currency for despair, and those that resides feed off that. It strips away the colors and reveals what it truly means to live in a bifurcated world, one where hope and despair, fantasy and darkness exist side by side. Chapter 2: Corporate Evil. Some people say, claim, protest that certain corporations are evil, doing nothing but the work to destroy the world. And although we can categorize these corporations as immoral or even criminal per se, the word evil has been tainted by overuse, giving every corporation that title. Now, what if there was a corporation that was truly evil? One that answers not to corporate board members concerned about how much money they save per year, but one that answers to hell, literally. Wolfram and Hart, or the wolf, the ram, and the heart, as I sometimes likes to say, are the definitive embodiment of such evil. This is a corporation born from many hell dimensions, created by entities calling themselves the senior partners. It recruits demons, half-demons, and even humans, all of whom signs contracts to continue working even after death in hell. This is the kind of corporation I have no hesitation in calling truly evil. They defend the worst of the worst, criminals and demons alike. They order hits on people, carry out their work with no moral hesitation. Why? Because they've sold themselves to a place that doesn't care about excuses, only results. Wolfram and Hart were in many ways the central opposition to Angel when he first arrived in LA. Always lurking in the background, they pulled the strings to sabotage whatever the powers that be had in store. They tormented Angel and his team relentlessly, spying on them, planning devices, attempting to buy out their headquarters, conducting dark magical rituals to bring out the end of the days, and teaming up with any threat willing to challenge Angel and his team. Their resources knows no bound, and that sickening idea, the notion that there could be a real corporation working for actual evil, is what makes them terrifying. Because deep down, even those claiming some corporations are evil might wonder, what if there's truth to that? A corporation that doesn't work for the living, but for the dead. One whose only plan is the apocalypse. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the future is heading. Chapter 3: Legacy of Violence. Angel's past as Angelus is something we as the audience can never forget. The sheer number of bodies he's dropped while he was soulless stands as the primary antithesis to his redemption once he is cursed with a soul. A vampire ridden with guilt over past transgressions, Angel is reimagined as a champion, a protector of humanity in the fight between good and evil. But what is that balance really? The series becomes a study of Angel's capacity for violence before his soul, never letting us forget what came before or what might come next. He has always walked the tethered line. He killed hundreds, if not thousands of people in his past. Now as a so-called champion, he still kills, but for the opposite side. His tactics have changed, less overt violence, less spectacle, and certainly less attention. But that doesn't mean the moral struggle has disappeared. We've seen it countless times. Angel wrestling with his own breaking point, grappling with the morality he must now control. When he was soulless, there was no morality to speak of. But after arriving in Sunnydale and meeting Buffy, that morality took form. Now in this next chapter of life, a period marked by isolation and loss, his moral compass becomes far more questionable. Yes, he seeks to help victims and potential victims of vampires, demons, and other evil entities. He wants to save them before it's too late. But at what cost? Unlike Sunnydale, where there existed a quiet, almost artificial order, picket fences and suburban routines, Los Angeles, the city Angel chose as his refuge, offers none of that. It's a place defined by a natural sense of chaos masquerading as order. Trouble far outweighs any semblance of peace. In a city where anything good struggles to catch the light, Angel is forced to reevaluate his balance to find a new sense of morality amidst a supernatural history steeped in violence. Chapter 4: Redemption as Punishment. What can we truly say about Angel as a character? Has he ever truly repented, redeemed himself in the eyes of the audience? There is a fine line between the concept of redemption and what Angel has done over the course of the series. His journey as a chosen champion becomes an interesting story arc during his time in LA, not just because he helped people, but because he also did the things that, while satisfying and even outright entertaining for us as the viewers, becomes far more complicated when judged within the framework of redemption. It's not so easy to say whether he's truly on that path. Redemption is a slippery thing to grasp. It can seem like someone is striving towards it, but their actions might tell a different story. For Angel, ever since he arrived in LA, the idea of redemption has always felt more like a punishment than a pursuit. From the moment he stepped foot back into the city, he knew the main reason why he was there was because he couldn't be with the woman he loved. The curse of his soul lingering, always returning to haunt him. Then there's the unrelenting battle against Wolfram and Hart. Every step forward he takes, they find a way to drag him 2 steps back. And the tragedy of his miracle-born son only compounds this despair, finding that silver of hope at first, only to lose him and witness his son be broken. It all spirals into a cycle of suffering, even as Angel continues to fight as a champion. Eventually, all this loss and disillusionment begins to wear him down. Angel becomes colder, more distant from the people he should be leaning on for guidance. That's the tragedy of his character. Every step forward feels like another step back, because deep down he knows that no matter how much good he does, it may never be enough to balance the scales. The cost of true redemption may be more than he can ever pay. Chapter 5: Immortality as Isolation. Angel as a character is one of a kind. From his introduction, the writers crafted him to be a tragic figure, someone unique given the fact that unlike other vampires, he has a soul. He can feel emotions that no other vampires can, and yet that is also his curse. He is someone who, should he find true happiness, will lose his soul again. The past he has endured is the key reason why he's such a tragic figure. The overwhelming sense of guilt he carries for the killing rampage he once went on, the time in his life that he wished would disappear, and most importantly, the painful choice to give up a girl he loves, all defines him. He knows that keeping her close could bring happiness, and when that happens, he will lose everything again. Even though he surrounds himself with people throughout the series, a team that helps him investigate the supernatural in LA, he remains isolated. He is the only one of his kind to have a soul, and the burden of possibly losing it with any glimpse of joy. This marks the tragedy at the heart of his character. A vampire who, if not staked, burned by the sun, or otherwise killed, is immortal. To live forever, carrying all the emotions of a human, is a path no one should have to walk. It is a cursed existence, one defined by the endless emotional weight. And yes, even though Angel is the only character to endure this specific curse, they are all introduced as skilled individuals, but also as lost souls, isolated, lacking a clear path they can truly call their future. That is the true tragic irony of the series. Angel has drawn others like him into the fight for good, but at what cost? Chapter 6, The Ending. Angel's journey from the time the Romani gypsies cursed him with a soul has been about the discovery of what it means to be given back that soul, especially when the wrongs you've committed have piled up into mountains. And yet, from the moment of his introduction in Buffy, Angel kept going. We've seen both the lows and the highs in his time across Sunnydale and Los Angeles. We've seen him as his darker self and jealous in both the flashbacks and the present. We've seen him as a hero and as a friend. But what has all that really led to? There was always a promise, a prophecy lingering since the end of Angel's first season, that all his sacrifice and burden would one day lead to an eternal reward. That hope was what kept Angel and the team around him moving forward. But through all the tragedy and sacrifice Angel has endured in his effort to balance the scales of good and evil, it becomes clear that his true enemy wasn't just a nest of vampires or demon lords. It was something more systemic, a corporation with its hands in everything, even their own version of the apocalypse, Wolfram Hart. The morality of what Team Angel has done over the 5 seasons is deeply debatable. Unlike Buffy and the Scooby Gang, Team Angel bent the rules repeatedly. Even when the outcomes aligns with some sense of justice, each member of the team ended up creating their own definition of what justice looks like. And because of that, the actual good guys have struggled to see Team Angel as anything different. That's the cost, the burden of trusting your instinct, of acting without certainty that your way is the right way. But that's also the point. Each of them continues fighting, even if it means going down in the process. Whether it's against demons, a secret organization, or Wolfram and Hart themselves, they keep going, because even when it seems impossible, they still fight. And even though Angel wasn't given a definitive ending towards the light, the final stand against Wolfram and Hart wasn't about victory. It was about choosing to fight even when the odds no longer mattered. Because in the end, the fight itself will always be Angel's purpose. Well, just like Buffy, that was then. His story continued long after the apocalypse Wolfram and Hart had planned, especially in the comics. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon in the next review episode.